good, everybody? Welcome back to the Cloud Slayer podcast. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. Next New Year's, I suppose. If this is your first time tuning in, I do appreciate if you hit that follow button or like and subscribe if you're on YouTube, because I will be cross posting this one. But um, I want to give a shout out to all my friends and family. I know sometimes I don't, you know, say that I'm thankful for things as much as I should. But just know I do appreciate each and every one of you guys, and I love you guys. So, um, first, I wanted to touch on there was some news within the MMA community for the people on the podcast that haven't heard yet. But I guess some people don't really care, but whatever. It is what it is, I suppose. But Stefan Bonner, he passed away, 45 years old, heart complications. They were thinking it was like weird, like his back breaking his back had some kind of play in there, but who knows? He's been battling it for sure. This last year, he was looking like a skeleton shell of his former self. You know what I mean? So, very sad. Prayers and thoughts go out to his family during this time of mourning for him. So um, hearts out to those guys. Then we had the Minnesota Vikings win by 3, barely. You know what I mean? So very good on their behalf. Um, there's you know there's a lot to talk about in regards of being positive and being a good influence. On not only yourself but maybe on those around you, and you know what I mean. It's hard to be, because just because you have these great things to say doesn't mean they're conveyed correctly all the time. You know what I mean? So um, take your time and don't get frustrated if somebody doesn't hear you out like the first time or anything like that, or if they don't quite understand what you're saying. The last thing you should do is be getting frustrated about it, because you know you got to maybe put yourself in their shoes and hear yourself every so often. It's easier said than done. Um, I know that. I'm sure a mass majority of people know that, but you know, you just gotta try to bear that in mind, and try to explain it to the best of your abilities, and at the same time, taking like some of that advice that you're out there preaching, because there's people that are preaching stuff, but they're out there not doing it at the same time. They're just telling others to do it. Um, Maybe they don't quite believe in it themselves. Who knows? But um, just if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna try to help other people, you got to make sure that it's also helping yourself along the way. You know what I mean? Who's gonna take care of you if you don't take care of you? So um, it's a great thing to help other people and stuff. Yeah, for sure. But if it's at the cost of your own well being along the way, what good is that gonna do? You're gonna lose yourself along the way, and then it's harder for or more difficult for people to believe what you're saying if you're not gonna take care of yourself in that same manner. Takes care of yourselves. It's very hard. Some people aren't raised and shown that all the time. So, but that shouldn't be an excuse on or something that holds you back from doing such in your own point of view. Success for some people could just be moving out. Something that simple, having a job, a stable job, or one that they're gonna stick to, stuff like that. So, um, whatever it is, create little goals for it. Having a job, moving out, or mom and dad, or grandma, grandpa. Who knows? Because there's a lot of situations around here where the grandparents are like the parent. Take take on that role, which is beautiful, and sometimes you don't get parent family at all. So, but you might get lucky and somebody else's family takes you in and helps you be more successful or see something different in life. But if you don't get any of those, don't be down when you're able to pick yourself up, and maybe you don't, but while you're trying to grind, you gotta try to just keep doing your best. Keep your head up, and create little goals for yourself, because nobody else is going to make expectations for you if they weren't willing to help pick you up. So create those little goals, and you keep believing in a better tomorrow, and stuff like that, because life's too short, man. There's a lot of people that, if you're going through like homelessness and stuff like that. I remember I worked at Walmart there, and there'd be this guy every night. He Every night I worked, he was sleeping on the benches out in the front. He was a college student, so he's putting himself through college at the same time. Very cool, and he he didn't have anywhere to go. He just fucked up living situation. It was almost like a year that I seen him there. My buddy would always give him sandwiches. Shout out to my boy Mitchell Downwind. What's up, Mitch? Love you too, brother. Um, Mitchell Downwind, he's a very good dude. You know what I mean? He was aspiring to be a cop and stuff at one point, but that didn't go through for him. He realized that wasn't for him and stuff like that. Um, he's got some smart kids, very talented. It's good to see people try to do their best for their kids. You know what I mean? Sometimes life has different plans too. So not gonna poop on anybody about that, but I just wanted to shout out Mitch, and you know, I'm sure that guy appreciated it. We seen him like a couple years later. He seemed to be doing. He was doing good. He had a girlfriend. He had a place. He got a job. He was pretty much done with school. It was fucking awesome. You know what I mean? It was a beautiful thing to see. And he thanked Mitch. He was like, "Hey man, thank you. Some days I didn't know how I was gonna make it. And he was always there with a sandwich. And kind words like, "Hey man, you'll make it. You'll be all right." Stuff like that. So, um, seeing my guy Mitch do that kind of stuff, it filled my heart with joy. You know what I mean? Because you don't always see that. Sometimes people just like turn a blind eye. You know what I mean? But he didn't. He never really seen him hesitate to help anybody when they were in their time of need. And you know, things like that go unappreciated. Um, but we might see it sometimes, um, but sometimes they don't get told, and if they don't get told, they feel down too. So, um, shout out, shout out, brother. So I want to say that it was seen, do see it, and I wish you all the luck in the world, man. And hey, maybe I'll have him on a podcast one day if he ever wants to, because he has an awesome story too. I remember, it was weird because before we became friends, I seen him on the bus. He did like youth build and stuff like that, and I was just in high school, junior senior year, and he was doing that stuff to teach him like carpentry and stuff like that. And I think he had his girlfriend there at that time too, his first baby mama, and yeah, it was. I didn't know that was him. You know what I mean? So it's weird that he's a couple years older too. So, but it was weird to knew the guy before I even knew him, and he always seemed like a nice guy on there. But I guess it would be different or weird for a guy like that to be talking to like high schoolers and stuff like that. I know my boy AJ always talked to him though. AJ, he's a cool dude too, but people said he might have changed or something. But when I see him, he seems same like the same dude, and he's out there working and getting his money and saving up, and he's got a place to live. You know what I mean? He's doing good for himself. So how bad can that be? You know what I mean? So AJ Johnson, man, shout out to that dude. You know, he might be different. I don't know. So, but regardless, I just can't. I don't like turn my back on anybody that has ever done anything good to me and treated me well in that manner. You know what I mean? So that you do great things for me. I'll do my best to return it. The best that I can. Like I said, I have plenty of people in my life that have been that for me. My uncles, stuff like that. Even like lodge uncles, because grew up in like a Madewan way. That's the religious way for Native American peoples. Um, it's very nice, very spiritual. They try to go back from technology and try to be more close to the earth, but still, you can't avoid moving forward with technology and everybody else that goes with it. And I hope they can make the advancements to do that, because their whole thing is preaching native ways and getting it out there. But that also includes opening up their mind too, because they didn't want like non-natives to believe in that, and not that I, I disagree with that. So I think that they should be trying to help spread that belief, if onto everybody who sees that stuff. You know what I mean? So, but that's gonna be their choice. You know, I guess me just being inactive and not being a part of that way of life anymore doesn't help anything neither. So, I'm just talking with my head up my ass, and I can say whatever the fuck I want to say, I guess, and so can they. And actions are going to be totally different. So I'm over here judging and just talking shit. So um, I don't ain't taking any digs at those guys. I love that way of life and all that. All uncles and aunties that I used to know or anything like that. So um, they're out there putting in work, and there are people out there spreading that knowledge and that way of life for people that want to be a part of that. So it's beautiful, teaching the language. A lot more people are starting to learn like Ojibwe language and stuff like that. But you know, I think as soon as they branch out and start sharing it more with more people, more walks of life and stuff like that, that it's going to grow rapidly, or it can potentially. But it has to come back from you know not sharing it with other groups of colored people, I guess you could say, or non-colored people, or whatever, people in general. Um, I understand the reason why they didn't, because we had like boarding schools way back in the day, and people were prosecuted for practicing their religious beliefs or even speaking their original language that they grew up with. Right? They could they could have even got beaten to death. A lot of people got killed. You know what I mean? It was a different time, different era, and different things happen. You know what I mean? I can't hold those grudges to this day. We can only look at what's happening now and help improve and make sure it doesn't happen to anybody else going forward who's trying to become better and who's trying to, I guess civilize is better, but at least we ain't like out there like war parties and stuff like that, I suppose. But there still is, and some points of view, I guess. It's all about perspective. If you're somebody in the gang, they view themselves as warriors, so you know what I mean. Um, it depends on where you're at in your life and what you're doing, and which side of, I guess, the law you could say that you're on, or however you were raised raised to believe and stuff like that. And who knows? I'm not one to judge, because I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Nobody I know is perfect. If you think you're perfect, chances are you're not perfect. You know what I mean? So, um, but that doesn't mean you can't continue to grow. It doesn't mean you can't get better and stuff like that. So, it's it's about seeing where you will need those places to grow, and starting to apply a little bit of time to grow and make that weakness a strength. You know what I mean? So, only way to get better is to practice, and that's that's pretty much all there is to it. It's not, I suppose, but it's a fact of life, right? You don't end up dunking like Michael Jordan just by grabbing a basketball. There's a lot of work that goes into that. A lot of dribbling drills, a lot of you know you can do like plyometrics and stuff like that to help increase verticals and stuff like that. But um, end of the day, it depends on the hard work that you put forth. So people like to use sports analogies. They do resonate a lot, because people that do play sports, they understand that those things that go into that, the hard work and stuff like that. So it it does correlate, and to them it just makes sense, and to anybody else that did any kind of activity, you know what I mean. You don't, just because it's told as a sports or something like that. Yeah, I guess you can just put it on into your own perspective. Like if you're a skateboarder, how long did it take for you to learn how to kickflip or do a drop in, or just be skate in general? You know what I mean? It took me wasn't until my first day, like full day of me trying to ride a skateboard that I could ride it without falling off and stuff like that. Hard like to just kick and get back on the board, stuff like that. But I didn't have anybody to show me. I was just trying to do what I seen on TV and stuff like that. But I was never good at it. Best I could do was probably an ollie. I remember sitting in the dirt and practicing doing like heel flips or something like that, but never really landed them. I came close, but um, it it takes a lot, and I was too dedicated to like basketball and stuff like that, basketball, football, and just hanging out with friends, playing video games, stuff like that. But you know what I mean. Still, when you're that young, you're just challenging yourself to what everybody else likes, or what you like, and everybody else um, who's involved in that thing. Hopefully they're competitive. If they're not competitive, then you might not be getting better. So if you haven't been in a few fist fights, just play basketball or football or anything like that, then you probably aren't that competitive, I guess. But maybe you are. That those are your stories, and it's not perfect, and there's there's some ugly that goes with getting better. So like you could hurt yourself, hurt others. Who knows? So I know just having a temper and stuff like that has gotten people hurt before. So dead or whatever have you. So it's better to share those experiences than to bottle them up or unleash them at one time. Um, it's better to remember and laugh about it than anything else in this life. Some of the goofy shit you may have done that I sure as hell did and continue to do for the rest of my life, and I'm sure everybody else will too. So, it, I do appreciate everybody tuning in. Thanks for tuning into the Cloud Slayer podcast. I do appreciate it. If you're new, hit that like and subscribe button. If you're returning, hey, welcome back. But have a good night, guys. I guess I just want to touch on one more thing, I guess. But I'm sorry to keep on rambling, take you guys too much time. But um, you know, if you ever want to be on here, coordinate it with me. Hit me up, whatever. If you're a friend or family member on Facebook, if you just need help, if you're wondering how to start a podcast or anything like that, hit me up. And not, I mean, do it when you're ready. Do when whatever. You know what I mean? If you need a little bit of help, I'm not gonna do it for you. That's the thing. I can't push you to want to do anything, um, but at the same time, I'll help you. But I'm not gonna do it for you. Nobody's gonna do it for you. Nobody can. Only you can get your butt up and do it yourself and take those steps towards that. And that doesn't mean we can't collaborate and do something. I mean, but we have to plan that out. So, but if you're gonna do something, I recommend you try to make a plan. Watch videos. Reach out for help, man. Or woman. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to generalize anybody, but my door's always open. Hit me up. Um, I'll help you out the best I can, but the rest is up to you. Whether you're gonna create any kind of content or anything like that. So peace and love, you guys. Have a good night.